Often I hear supporters of the bill say, nah, overseas it's been fine. People are inflating the problems. There's no issues overseas. Is that the case?
Well, I mean, it's just patently false to make those claims. So, I mean, in the Netherlands, just 2 years ago, this is a country where they're euthanizing children, they're euthanizing newborn babies, they're euthanizing dementia patients and psychiatric patients and depressed people. We had this case of the Dutch woman with dementia who was held down by her family while her doctor administered a lethal injection against her will. Okay, across the border in Belgium, where they're euthanizing children and psychiatric patients, we had a case just a few years ago where the Belgian Review Committee, so this is the same type of committee we're going to have here, it was exposed as corrupt by one of its own members, okay, a whistleblower from the Review Committee who basically said, this committee is breaking the law. It's approving wrongful deaths and it's ensuring that the doctors who commit those atrocities get away with it, get total impunity. And the person who was the whistleblower was a member of that committee and then said it's basically an industry in Belgium where the players in the industry just help each other. So that's those two countries. Let's look at Canada. Okay, in Canada we've got the case of Roger Foley. This was a man who was secretly pressured by hospital staff to choose euthanasia. He recorded the conversation that's been used there. What about the case of Candice Lewis, a 25-year-old Canadian woman with spina bifida and chronic illness? The doctors didn't pressure her. What they did instead was they pressured her mother with an earshot of Candice to say, why doesn't your daughter request euthanasia? And when her mother said, well, we don't want that, they said, well, you're just being selfish. What about Sean Taggart? I think it was just last year. He suffered from ALS, and basically the Canadian healthcare system refused to pay for all the care that he really needed for this chronic condition that he had. And in the end, it offered to pay for his euthanasia, of course, and in the end he took it. So this is a man who basically was helped to be euthanized by a system that couldn't or wouldn't care for him. What about the fact in May 2018, the Quebec College of Practitioners wrote to the Minister of Health and said, we have a serious problem in Quebec. We have a shortage of palliative care practitioners and facilities here. And what we're concerned about is that thousands of people in Quebec, because they can't access palliative care, are going to be choosing assisted dying, euthanasia instead. Then, of course, in April last year, the UN Special Rapporteur on Disabilities visited Canada and issued a very damning report saying that she was extremely concerned to hear multiple reports coming out of Canada about disabled people being pressured by hospital staff and so on into requesting euthanasia. So don't tell me that there's been no problems overseas. Every jurisdiction that has legalized this has seen abuses.